Alright, we got all of our liquid up to a rolling boil, which is kind of where you want it. So now I'm going to add 1 ounce of hops. These are going to be your bittering hops. This is going to be in for the full 60-minute boil that we're going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and open these. And I'm going to put them in my homemade little hop sack here. You can throw them directly into your kettle, but then you have to deal with all the sludge that's left over after, all the residue, because this kind of turns to mush once it gets wet. So I just made a little PVC pipe, muslin bag, and a little clamp here just to keep it open the whole time. That way, on certain brews that you're going to have 4, 5, and 6, 7 additions of hops, and it's a lot easier just to pour them directly in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add these into my bag here. And that's roughly 1 ounce. 1 ounce of hops. It's going to be in the bag here. Like I said, these will turn into mush. You can just rig anything up any way of, you can let it just kind of hang inside your kettle here. You can hook it to the side, wherever you want to do. But you just want to introduce these. And like I said, these are going to sit in here for roughly an hour. So a little handy thing, you can always use a stopwatch. That way you can keep track, like I said, on multiple hop additions. That way you know exactly how far along in your boil that you're at. Like I said, this is going to be a full 60-minute boil. With about 2 minutes left in the 60 minutes, we're going to add another aroma hop. I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, we're about 45 minutes into the boil. We got about 15 minutes left. But I have a World Flock tablet here, which is kind of like an Irish moss, which it just makes pretty much all the protein drop. So you have just a little bit more clear beer, and it's not nearly as cloudy. But this is a wheat beer, so you're going to have certain elements of cloudy anyway. So go ahead and toss this in. We got about 15 minutes left to boil. About 2 minutes left. We'll throw in their last ounce of hops and finish it off. 2.5, 3 minutes left to boil. I'm going to add the aroma hops, which is a Hertzbrucker hops. It's 1 ounce. I'll just take our same container we had before. Just pour that directly in there. So you can see, these are pelletized hops. You have whole leaf hops, pelletized. So we'll go ahead and put this in there for the last 2 minutes. And these are primarily known as aroma hops. Give a little bit more of the bouquet whenever you go to drink it. It's what you actually smell. I mean, you'll get some of the tones of the other hops as well, but these are primarily aroma hops. So we'll let this go for about 2 more minutes, and then we'll start cooling the wort. Our boil is complete. Time to take out the hops. I'll just hold them up here for a minute or two and let all the excess liquid come out of there. And then we're going to put our wort chiller in to cool the wort down. Before you pitch your yeast, you want to have it below 80 degrees, just so you can start your fermentation where it needs to be. So I'll show you how to use the wort chiller here momentarily. Alright, this is the wort chiller. Have a leak in the hose, but you get the general idea. You have the hose coming off your water line at your house, which will introduce the water to the coils. The water will go down through, circulate, and come back up and come out the exhaust hose. The purpose for this is you want to try to get your wort, which is what the beer is up to at this time, you want to get it as cooled down as fast as possible, just to limit the bacteria and the contaminants that can enter the water before you pitch your yeast. So this will get the beer a lot colder than just letting it kind of decrease naturally. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into the pot. I've already turned the heat off, so this will go down into the liquid. And roughly, depending on how big your wort chiller is, 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll just keep an eye on the gauge here, and it should drop it down to about 80 degrees, and then we'll put it in our fermenter, and then we'll pitch the yeast, and we should be done for the day. Alright, now we got our liquid here chilled down to below 80 degrees, which is kind of where you want it before you pitch your yeast. I just pretty much hooked this food grade tubing up to the end of my ball valve here. That's just an easy way to transfer the wort into your fermenter here, which is a 5-gallon fermenter, which you're going to be doing your primary fermentation. If you have a secondary fermentation, you'll be moving over to a glass carboy in about a week or so. But for right now, we're going to go put it in this. So I'll just hold this down here. You can buy these with or without like a little screen. the screen, just any kind of loose particles that might be in your liquid right now, it kind of filters it out a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this check valve here. And there you see the beer coming out. That's pretty much going to be the color of the beer when it's ready to drink. Like you can see, it has like a wheat, lighter brown color to it. Start off with 7 gallons of water in here, and I'm going to have just a tad bit over 5 gallons to do evaporation. So by the time we drain all this out, we should be right at the 5 gallon mark, and then I'll pitch my yeast. Alright, you have several kind of yeast. You have dry yeast, the smack packs. This is a liquid yeast, White Labs. This works well. It doesn't take a whole lot to use it. You pretty much just twist off the cap and add it to your wort. The good thing about the liquid like this that comes in the vials is a little bit more expensive than the dry yeast, but the cell count is a lot higher than the dry yeast, so you get a lot better fermentation. So we'll just go ahead and add this, and you just pour it directly in the fermenter. Alright, you got that. You have your lid that's been properly sanitized. So a nice tight seal so no air gets into it. And then I'm going to add your airlock. This just, it lets the gas escape from the fermenter, but it doesn't let oxygen in, because oxygen is bad for beer. So this is just going to go in this little rubber gasketed hole. And then you're pretty much done. Then it's wait a week to transfer it to the primary, or wait another week and transfer it into the bottles or your keg. So I'll go ahead and put this in there. Alright, and we're done.